Hello, good people of YouTube. Sealord here, and I do apologize if I sound a little bit off. The weather's doing its thing. The high was 40 degrees a couple of days ago, then yesterday it was 80, now it's back down in the 50s today, so my sinuses are all over the place. So if I sound weird in this video and a couple of more videos in the future, I do apologize for that. But that's just a side effect of living in Louisiana in the wintertime. But anyway, today's video, we are talking about some very interesting changes to the Soviet Kearsarge, which ironically was the original plan for the Kearsarge, right? The Russians asked some American ship designers to design a hybrid battleship, and that's how we get the Kearsarge design. But in World of Warships, we got that as the Kearsarge. But now, Lesta is introducing a Russian version of the Kearsarge, which I guess would be the original intention of the Kearsarge design, called the Sverrmors. Now, this is, of course, like I said, Lesta's client. I think the rough translation is like World of Ships, or it might just be World of Warships. So it's not our client. Now, I did a couple of these Russian dev blogs, back when the two games first split, and a lot of you guys are like, well, why are we even talking about this? Because this isn't our client, and fair enough. So I stopped doing dev blog videos on these dev blogs. But this one, guys, this one is a doozy, and there is some back and forth between Lesta and Wargaming, I think, going on. So we could potentially see stuff like this come to our version of the game, but the two games have diverged a lot. Like, if you go download the Russian client and play it, there's a lot of changes on that client. Now, one of the bigger changes that was announced a little while ago is that in Lesta's client, they finally got 2D map spotting for CVs and testing. Like, what we've been asking for forever, right? And then Wargaming comes out with their convoluted, system that we talked about last week, and myself and a lot of you guys were just like, well, why not just do what Lesta's doing? Just do 2D minimap spotting. That'll fix a lot of the issues. And I even joked about it too, saying, well, I might just go download the Russian client because they're finally getting what we're asking for. Well, you may want to hold your horses if that was your plan, because my God, what they're doing with this Russian Kearsarge is kind of nuts. So let's dive on into it, just for the entertainment purposes, if you will. So the ship is called the Sverrmors, I believe that's how you pronounce it, and it was originally like the Kearsarge. It had a squadron of planes. I think it had a little bit better reload and a little bit less range, and that was kind of the mix-up they did with it. But now they are changing it dramatically. So they say, and this is through Google Translate, so I'm sorry if it's more word gibberish than usual. So they say, for the Sverrmors, number of aircraft in a tactical squadron, and accordingly in the attack flight of bombers, has been increased from 4 to 7. That's right, I got bombers instead of the rocket planes. That was the thing. The reload time for a tactical squadron of bombers has been increased from 70 to 100 seconds. The above changes to Sverrmors would take effect only on the main server on December 28th, so that's kind of soon. I'm assuming that's for the version of the ship that's in like their super testers' hands. So, but in closed testing, these are the changes that are happening to it. The number of bombers in a squadron and in the attacking flight has been increased from 4 to 7. The preparation time for the bombers has been increased from 70 to 300 seconds. And a tactical squadron of bombers has been added, and similar in characteristics to Chekhalov bombers. The preparation time for the entire squadron is 300 seconds. So I'm assuming that is skip bombers. The dispersion parameters of the main battery shells are brought to standard values for battleships. The firing range of main battery guns has been increased from 19.9 to 23 kilometers. The reload time for main battery guns has been reduced from 33 to 30 seconds. So now it has the range of the Kearsarge, but a much faster reload time. Keep in mind that it still has 12 16-inch guns. Added combat instructions, operational training of squadrons. The progress bar fills 1% for every 18,000 units received of potential damage. Thus, to completely fill the scale, you will need to get 1.8 million units of potential damage. And then what these combat instructions do is that they last for 420 seconds. The time of inactivity before losing progress is another 420 seconds. And then you lose 20% of the progress when it is slinking on down. But this reduces the squadron prep time by 80%. and it boosts the reload time of your consumables by 50%. So, of that 300 seconds, you get 80% of that cut off just when you get 1.8 million potential damage, which, if you haven't played a battleship, is not difficult by any stretch of the imagination, especially a ship like the Kearsarge or the Sverrmors in this situation, I would imagine, too, because that giant flight deck attracts a lot of fire, because that hangar deck is just a tumor on the back of the ship. And when you're usually spotted, everyone and their mom takes a shot at you because it's not very thickly armored. It's so easy to chunk that thing for like 15-20k with a battleship. So typically, from my experience, when you are spotted in the Kearsarge, you get a lot of attention, and 1.8 million potential is not a tall order at all. And they state down here, we want to test the unusual gameplay that differs from all hybrid battleships. Thanks to the accuracy settings changed to standard for battleships from the start of the battle, the Sverrmors will play more like a regular battleship, gradually filling the combat instructions progress bar and occasionally making air attacks. At the same time, as soon as the scale is filled, it will be possible at any time to turn the Sverrmors into a full-fledged aircraft carrier, as well as quickly restoring spent combat effectiveness points by reducing the reload time of the repair team. The bonus to the reload time of equipment from combat instructions will be useful even if you continue to play after their activation, simply as a classic hybrid battleship. If the test of an alternative ship concept shows positive results in version 13.0, we will continue testing the ship with these settings. So, you just... so for basically the time of the combat instructions being active for 420 seconds, you just have a carrier. Like, it's not like the Kearsarge where you only have one squadron, then the rocket planes, and you gotta wait for the squadron to regenerate. You have two squadrons to keep bouncing back and forth between. So you got, a tactical squadron of bombers that's like the Chikhalov, and then they keep calling these tactical squad. This first tactical squadron top match bombers. Maybe it's top mass bombers. So I think that's skip bombers. So it's got skip bombers already, and then it's getting the Chikhalov's bombers, which are just like normal bombers. So you're giving it two of the most powerful types of squadrons, because skip bombers are incredibly excellent at murdering destroyers. Cruisers. Well, and destroyers too, if you just one-line drop them. And then the Chikhalov's bombers are very good because they just dive straight down, and their reticle is very small, at least on our version of the game. I don't think they've really changed too much about the Chikhalov on the Russian client. So you're giving this ship, those two squadrons, with a boost to their preparation time by 80%, to where you're just going to be able to absolutely murder cruisers and battle cruisers. And then keep in mind, the ship still has 12 16-inch guns on top of this as well. That's an insane amount of damage output for the time that this combat instructions is up. So, golly. So a lot of players, like I said they wanted to go ahead and try out the Russian client because of the 2D minimap spotting. So that's I don't think you want to wander on over to the Russian client that much anymore. So 420 seconds, that's That's 7 minutes, yeah. So then, let me do some math right here. I'm not good at it. So if my math is math in here, for 7 minutes, 420 seconds, when your combat instructions are active, you'll have a 60-second reload on those skip bombers and on those Chikhalov bombers for 7 minutes. So you'll be able to vomit out 14 squadrons in that time. Now that is, of course, one every minute. So if you're really on the plane cycle rate, at most 14 is what you're going to be able to get, which is completely ridiculous. But again, given plane travel time and having to actually go through the attack, I doubt very many players will be able to get 14 squadrons out that fast. But That's pretty quick. And again, the ship still has 12 16-inch guns. So this is going to be pretty cracked, in my opinion. I'm not sure if this is really going to go through on their side of things. Who knows? It was kind of weird because this whole situation is weird because the Russian client, they're just limited to the Russian server basically. It's the Russian server separate from the rest of the servers now. And like with the 2D minimap spotting, I thought, okay, well, they have a much smaller player base to work with, so they really need to listen to the players and give them what they want. And that's why, I thought the 2D minimap spotting was going through. And then they turn around and they start messing with this. Now, this, of course, is all in testing. And again, it's on the Russian client, so it doesn't really affect us. But, hey, if this ship does well over there, I would not be surprised to see if we get something like this on our end. So guys, let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Hope you all have a wonderful Saturday and wonderful rest of your Christmas weekend. If you did enjoy the video, make sure to drop a like, leave a comment, subscribe to the channel. We are on our way to 75,000 subscribers, and I cannot thank you guys enough for that. Again, hope you guys have a great rest of your Christmas weekend. Hope to catch you guys in the next one.